Hi everybody, again. Oh, what's going on? Why is the outfit so different? Yeah, well, I thought I always be dressed black and I have to change it once. This is not so funny, and I like this hat very much. I bought it in California 2 years ago when I stayed there, and yeah, I think I like California very much. It's a beautiful country. What I want to talk about today is slider. And I have two models I would like to show you, and what I did modify with the two models, what I did change there. The first, I forget the names all the time, is called Camrock. It's a 100 centimeter, 1 meter slider, and the weight is 1600 grams. It's okay, it's not too heavy, and it has the system is a kind of it's not a ball bearing. The slider works with some plastic caps in. There are some plastic parts, and they run nearly smooth on the surface. This is the one slider I want to talk about, and then I have a different one. I bought later a shorter one. This is a one with ball bearing. This runs very smooth from one side to the other, and I want to talk what I think about that. In some parts the first one, the cheaper one, is even better to work. It was a surprise for me. I originally have seen all the Canova sliders and they're extreme good, but also a little bit fancy expensive. And so I thought and found this on eBay. It's called the Ayex slider. It's a ball bearing slider. It works very, very fine and good. And it might be not so much different to the Canova, but it's much more cheaper. I've seen the Canovas cost about 300 to 400 euro, and this one cost with the length of 80 centimeter, it did cost 120 euro. So it's a big difference to try it out, and I think as cheaper as you can get the material to work with, as better it is, because it's not always the technique what makes a good movie, it's more your ideas or the creativity you set in. I first want to start with the Camrock. This, you have here a screw to open it, and it runs on some plastic cups, plastic curves inside, and it is not so smooth and fast running like with this ball bearings inside, but it has an advantage for me. I first used the slider by hand, and therefore that it is not running so elegant, fine. It has a little kind of what is this called, friction. It has something what slows it automatically down, so it's easier for me to run a smooth, constantly moving, and even to come to an end, to slow down and go down and come to a stop. It's much more easier with this cheap one for me than with the ball bearing. This is one advantage for me. When I bought it, there are some feet, I can show it to you, picture to you, there are some feet you can put it there, but I'm not interested in that because I'm using this mostly on a tripod. I put it on a tripod, and then I've seen there are some screws, some holes in, where the screws from the tripod fit precise in, and this had not been enough for me, so I bought a screw cutter for this special type of screw Gewinde, I don't know this in English, and I think this is a US cutting system here, not the European one, not the metric, and there I did cut some holes and cut the screw inside, so now I can use it on on different ones. I made some more here for me. What else? One day I had the idea, okay, for my time-lapse, it's very helpful if this would have an automatic system what pulls it slowly. And then I thought, the easiest way, and I constructed this little box. It's very simple. Inside the box is an electric engine, a tiny little one, a round one, what works with gears, with a gear transmission, so it is very, very slow. I put here a regulator, so I can even slow it down by going down with the electricity. So I use a 7.2 volt battery plug. I bought it for these little cars, the funny electric cars you can play for children. They have some battery blocks like this inside. You can use nearly everything between 5 and 12 volt, whatever you find. This works. You have to look on the electric motor inside on the engine, what fits together, but every electronic shop will deliver this. It's easy. And I used a metal box, what I got at the shop. I bought it here. I'm from Austria, so in Austria and Germany there is a huge electric shop. It's called Conrad Electronic. I'm not quite sure if this exists in the US, but there are a lot of other shops, but or at other places in the world. And this little box, it's very simple. It's the engine inside. I can fix it here with a screw on one end here. It's very easy on one end, and I have a fishing rod and put this to this screw what I have put in here, and it pulls very slowly the camera only in one direction, but this doesn't matter. I can turn it both sides, whatever I need, and it pulls it in this one direction very slow. So I have a speed of this 1 meter from, I can adjust 10 minutes, something like this, and I can make it faster for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. So it's really perfect enough to make a time movie, the time shots for this period. Then later I put a piece of fabric and made this little, there was no bag, or there was a bag coming with this tripod, I can't remember, but I keep it always in this. I made a little kind of fabric by an old part of what was it, a bed sheet or whatever, and I put it inside there because I figured out that even the fat of the fingers, the acid what you have in your finger, touching this kind of slider slows down the smooth running of the slider. There gives, it's not if you use it once, but if you use it 3 times. So I use this and I clean it always on the surface. I polish it with this a little bit. This is very helping. And if I'm using it outside and maybe the weather is humid and my fingers might sweat, so I really have a pair of white cotton gloves, very thin cotton gloves in my equipment, and I'm working there. I know it looks crazy. I look like an idiot outside with white gloves here and working on a tripod, on a slider and on a tripod, but it's really helpful because I'm not touching the slider and don't make any fat there. It's really helpful. And after a time I start to polish this really a little bit harder with the hand, with nothing else. And if you have done this, you can feel it. You can feel it. It runs more precise, especially if you want to have a shot where you come down and slow down more and more till you stop. You have to train it. It is not so easy to do, but it's with this slider much more easy than with the other one. So I try to make some pictures how it looks inside. Yeah, one thing more I have done when the problem at the beginning had been always I kept this. I put it on a position where I did know it's about 10 minutes, and I stopped it, and here I always put it this way off and hang it in, and then it runs slowly. And I had the problem, this came to the end here and the engine didn't stop because it pulled more and more, so I had always to look on my watch and come, oh, it's 8 minutes gone, I have to think about where is my machine running outside anywhere, and so and then one day I had the idea, oh my god, there is a button, you can buy it in electronics shop. If the slider touches here this little button, then automatically it makes a disconnection of the electric line inside and disconnect the battery, and the slider stops. So I can put it now anywhere and it stops automatically. It's a little button, it doesn't costs €0.50, 50 cents, something like this, and it worked pretty fine. I put it in between the connection of battery and the engine, and if this is blocked, slider stops. I think there is a lot of possibilities, and I think there are a lot of things you can really create this very simple. It doesn't cost much, it's cheap. I bought the box and I put in also one this switch is an on and off, that's all, so I can adjust it and then I press it on with the switch on and it starts to run, and I can at the end stop it. So that's really easy to do, and it's fun. I've done a lot of slow of time-lapse shots with this slider and with this little extra tool. It's not so heavy, I can put it in my backpack, I can put this, can carry it, you can be on the road, it's really nice. This is the Ayex slider, and by the way, Boss slider did cost, this is only 80 centimeters, it's a little bit shorter, and both sliders did cost about 110, 120 euro. So I bought it in eBay. I found this one, there was a photo shop in Poland, it had been the cheapest one with the same model. And here you have a screw on the side, you can open the screw and then you see, hui, the slider works really pretty, very elegant, the ball bearings run perfect, very fast. Here it works really pretty good, but the problem to have the same speed, and I prefer to have a slow speed, I'm not shooting the slider up and down, so therefore I have to find always a position with my finger to with my thumb or with something, maybe the whole hand, what makes a slowing down. It's like I'm sliding my fingers on the frame too, so that I have a slower movement. If I would only run this, I'm not so precise in the same speed. You can block it with this wheel, but on this model you cannot slow it down, that it is constantly, it has a constant speed on a slower speed. This really doesn't work. So, but with a little bit training and with a finger, it works pretty good. I'm not so perfect with this one to come to an slow down end and stop it. It's so flexible that I stop and I push a little bit too much and backwards, and so it's shaking. That's easier with the cheaper model. I know this is fancy and all the world says, oh my god, ball bearing, it's the best system, but I'm not so convinced this is for every case really the best system. It's definitely a little bit more quiet. If you need a shot where it should be as much quiet as possible, the ball bearing system is better. It's more quiet. At the other ones you hear this moving sound. You hear it. So if you need it to be quiet, this is better. It's more quiet. And even here, there are two tracks inside, and the bearings, the wheels are running inside. You have even here to clean it with a piece of fabric, with a fabric handkerchief or something like that. You have to polish it a little bit, then it runs more smooth. And I think if you use it for a longer time, then I have not used it so much, but if I'm using this one. I've used the other one in Italy on the beach, on the sand, and so it worked fine, but I had to clean it after 2 days shooting. And if I would use a lot outside on beach or sandy, on the seaside where it's the sand in the air and where it's salt in the air, I probably have to open it and really clean it perfect and put it together. It should not be so difficult. This comes with some extra feet here. You can screw the feet in here on the end, and it's an easy system. You screw it here, and then you have a nice feet position to park it anywhere. But I never use these feet. It's really rare that I use them. I prefer to have it on a tripod. And of course, what you need, it's a little head here. I bought a Novoflex. This is a very tiny and cheap one, and then I can adjust the camera in all directions. Yeah, so much my experience with the slider in this way. I will give you maybe I give you a link. I did one of the Italian movies I did. I used a lot the slider for different scenes on the beach, and therefore you can see how it worked, or how I can work with that. Maybe one thing at the end, if you work with the slider, and I tried it, my first time-lapse shot on the slider had been outside. There was a really nice scene, the landscape. I put maybe a little bit more wide-angle lens on the camera, and I start to shoot, and I waited 10 minutes or whatever, or I turned it even longer. I'm able to turn it, this slider works for 30 minutes, something like that, and I had to really wait it, and then I looked at it after, and I've seen, I couldn't see anything, just moving. And then I figured out I had nothing in the down in front of my scene, so that you can't really see much. If you have the next stuff, in my case it had been trees half a mile away, you don't see anything. So it's very helpful if you have something in front of the camera what moves fast by. So some little detail, it might not be sharp, but it's interesting. If something in front moves sharp by, then you have the different speeds in this frame. You have in front something very fast moving, in the middle slower, and at the end nearly nothing. So this is how we are trained. If we move in a car, in a train, by running, we see the structure the same way. So then we understand much more easier. There is some movement in, and this looks interesting. If there is nothing in front or down below on the camera, or nothing there, then you won't see much. And I think it's more effective to use more a wide-angle lens than a normal normal lens, or a tele lens is incredibly terrible. It doesn't work, because you see every shaking. It's terrible. You cannot stabilize it so good, and you don't see much in the tele position. Nothing happened. But with wide angle, and you have some interesting down, and therefore it's interesting to use a position down. That's mostly helpful. The last thing is that I've seen some shots when people make it really complicated. They have a slider, they have the time-lapse on the slider, they have on top a construction what pulls the camera in one direction, at the same time turns it around. And it's fascinating by the technology, and there you have a lot of equipment on the market what support these special technologies. It's mostly a little bit more expensive. It's interesting, but I've seen a lot of movies this way, and I've seen the movies they go in one direction with the time-lapse, with the slider only to shot one direction, or time-lapse even on a tripod, nothing else. And at the end I feel more comfortable if there is not so much movement. If I have one clear scene, and what is the interesting thing? The interesting thing is the time. If something running fast by time wow, that's much more interesting if the landscape is stable. It's my opinion. If the landscape is stable and the scenery is moving, the people, the water, the cars, the light, the sky, the sun, I can follow what's going on, what I never can see during my little normal 24-hour speed. But if this is speeded up in 24 hours in 10 minutes, oh my god, that's great. There really is a processing. So I think that's all what I know about sliders. I could help you a little bit and give the information what I know, what are my experiences. I think it's really great, this technology nowadays, that we can share our experiences. Is a really great thing. I appreciate so much that I can watch your videos and your experiences and I can share mine. That is good for the whole planet. I think so. Okay, thanks, and because I like my head, I say bye bye, this time with my head. Bye.